Satnam, welcome back to the Bloom into Abundance podcast. My name is Rabindra.
Hi, everyone. I'm Myra.
Of the podcast. Season 2, here we go. So we wanted to start this conversation as a bit of a January pep talk, you know. I know that there's so much expectation that goes into starting a new year, especially with New Year's resolutions and, you know, kind of this idea of just kind of going for it right away. But reality is we're not all in the same season. We're not all, you know, New Year's is different for different people. And so we wanted to kind of give you the permission slip, if you're watching this today or listening somewhere out there, the permission slip to set your own New Year's Day. You know what I mean? For us, we've chosen to do this on Chinese New Year's.
Which is February 10th.
February 10th.
Any of you were wondering.
Also,
it's the year of the dragon. So we feel like, you know, creating a nice allyship to that.
So we're moving our year into February 10th, giving us this January as more of a buffer month. Mm-hmm. Also, like, you know, you have Christmas, then you have New Year's Eve celebration, and then you have this kind of first week of January where it's still kind of New Year's celebration. People are still getting back to work and kind of getting out of their holiday mode and getting into, you know, life mode and trying to feel out what 2024 is about for them. And you know, for me, my birthday is on January 10th, which was a couple days ago, right? Yeah, a couple days ago.
A week ago.
4 days ago, actually.
Yes,
but
that's true.
But so yeah, even like with that, for me, New Year's happens, and then the holiday just kind of doesn't stop until after my birthday for me. So I'm like really starting on like mid-January. So that kind of messes up my New Year's resolution plans. Mm-hmm. If I started on January 1st. So that's one of the first points we wanted to make today, was just kind of, you know, to get the best experience of 2024, to try to really utilize this kind of fresh start, new beginning energy. You got to really know and understand what season that you're in right now, you know, and being in Bali has really bent this whole idea of season for us, because
well, there is no seasons here. We're summertime all the time.
Yeah, so the fascinating thing, we're in Bali, there's like, you know, tropical season and then rainy season, but then it's rainy season hasn't really showed up yet. And
because they're controlling the clouds.
Okay, let's go into that later.
Okay.
But we're also originally from North America. I'm from Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, where like they just had the coldest day of the year. Meanwhile, in Bali, we had the hottest day of the year. But we're still, there's still kind of, even though we've been here for about 4 years, the season that we still feel what's happening in North America, and we also feel the season that's happening here. Mm-hmm. But to deep dive even deeper, for us, we just finished moving. We just launched a new shop in Ubud. We just kind of gave it a big push, you know, at the end of last year. So for us, the season is a little bit of recouping at the moment. Mm-hmm. You know, we had this idea that right when New Year starts, we'd get back in the gym and we'd be there, or right when the kids started school again, we'd get there. Mm-hmm. But it feels like, yeah, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we'll kind of get that rhythm flowing again. So the season is there, right? So we're giving ourselves that bit of a permission slip, but we still know that, yeah, we're going to kind of get in the physical flow of things at the gym, or, you know, that kind of thing in the coming weeks, right?
Yeah.
And that comes from just like understanding who we are and understanding where we are, you know. Also, as parents, our kids just started school two days ago. So really our season kind of feels like it's just starting again, right?
Yeah, and
you know,
they've been kind of the barometer of how to get things into motion. So we'll definitely roll the podcasts during the periods that they start school, and then hold off on it during the times that they're, you know, on a break.
That's why we had a bit of a, you know, we were going to do this weekly. However, you know, holiday season, and then we were away, and now, you know, now kids are in school. Now we're back in the flow. So that's a bit of self-awareness of where you're at. You know, what are the major things you're working on, and where are those things at, and just to know how to pace yourself going into this new year, this 8 universal year, which is quite exciting.
It's quite palpable. It's got a lot of leadership and abundance and mutability, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of discerning with change and how to navigate with that, because it's also karmic. So whenever we have like a karmic experience, there's a push to change or to alter something within you, or to transcend something into a new layer of your being.
Mm-hmm. And being on the island, something we learn over and over again is the time that things take to develop and build. Island time is quite slow. There's no rushing around here. So we definitely learned how to bring patience and knowingness
Well,
into
it's also kind of
projects.
this return
Yeah.
to the Indigenous soul rhythm, because it's so prominent on the island. Like, they kind of flow at a different pace. They vibrate to a different rhythm that is definitely in congruency with the lunations, with their own season, right? And coming from this mind Western construct, there's like a timeline, and there's, a due date, and there's a by-when, and there's this compressed kind of configuration that is so embedded in our cells that we expect that from an island that does not compute,
Yeah, so it's wonderful to see.
It's wonderful to see, and it's also very humbling.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really kind of just like, oh, what is the rush? What are we rushing towards? And to slow down.
Slowing down, and then you see the streets filled with ceremonies here, and it's like, oh, it must be a new moon or it must be a full moon. Everybody takes days off for that kind of stuff. So understanding yourself a little deeper, we were just laughing about this, but we did a photo shoot yesterday, and it was a real sprint. It was like, we had a good push in the morning.
We weren't laughing. You were giving me feedback.
And I was laughing about it.
You were laughing at me.
But yeah, so we're, understanding how you work is another way of looking at, this year. For me, I'm a bit of a marathon runner. I can sit and I can grind for 7 hours if I need to, or if I want to, but that's just my natural thing. Whereas Myra is more of a sprinter, where like yesterday, the photo shoot was a sprint. It was like 3-4 hours of just go, go, go. And now today I noticed she was a bit slower, or we got the kids to school a little bit later. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Are you taking that buffer after your sprint off? Because I'm just starting to understand that about her.
It's getting more magnified. I can't hide.
But yeah, knowing that about yourself is like, okay, I'm a sprinter. Okay.
And also like we had I had a revelation in terms of like, yeah, that's right. I can't, not that I'm throwing them under the bus by being late, but I have to, pull up my big girl pants and,
how much of it is habit and,
and how much of it is comfort.
And comfort and
It's
programming,
usually just comfort, because sometimes when I go that sprint, it's like all of the energy that's also in the reserve, and then so I have to consolidate. And as an introvert, believe it or not, I need that space to consolidate and to fill up.
But it takes time, and for me, it's like it takes time to kind of gain focus, gain momentum, and then you kind of get in the flow, right? So that's where I'm like, wow, you were just so deep in the flow, and now you're like just giving it away. I'm like, just stay in the flow, go, keep the marathon running. But that's just a matter of like, you need to check.
Drink water.
And drink the water. But yeah, understanding yourself. Am I a marathon runner, or am I a sprinter, or am I a brisk walker? If we were in Canada right now, -30, -40, we'd be brisk walkers, just walking real fast, because you don't want to be walking slow in the winter in the cold.
No.
So it's a nice fast pace. So that's another way of looking at it. And then also we can take fresh notes from, what worked and what didn't work in 2023. For example, for me, or for us, or I'll talk about me, maybe, looking back, and trying to pace the year, I just put too many things on the docket. I had a lot of projects, big ones, like really, really big projects, all at the same time, one back to back to back to back, and just overestimating or underestimating how big they actually were. So this year, I'm just really honing it in on 1 or 2 big projects at most, but the focus being the one first, and then getting the second one on the docket later. So my manifestations, my prosperity mantras are all focused on the one big project this year. So whenever I think prosperity, whenever I think abundance, whenever I think, okay, this is what I want to manifest, it's specifically the one big thing, the one big project, instead of like the 3 or 5 things that I want to bring. Like, it's just like, no, let's just get that one thing in. Let's get that big project, that big thing that's going to move life forward in the most dreamy way. And focus daily, a couple times a day on that. So, me having too many things on the docket ended up with me actually experiencing anxiety over the last 3 or 4 months for the first time in my life in a deep way. Like physically, I was floored. I've never felt it. Like it was visceral in my body, and I didn't know what to do. I was doing all my practice, and it would work, and then later it'd come back. And finally, I've done a few things. So for one, I stopped drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Number 2, so the initial thought is like, okay, I'm having anxiety, so I want to yang it out, like go to the gym, run, sprint, do all these crazy things. And that was actually increasing my anxiety, even though at first I would be totally spent and it would be gone. But then later I'm so spent that I don't have the energy to come back. So the anxiety didn't go away with that. So it's quite opposite. Lots of people get the feedback and this may be just a lot about self-knowledge. Maybe for you, like, and I have another friend that is going through a moment, and she, she went to a yang thing, which was like a breathwork exercise. And for some of you, that may just work. That might just help cut it. But for her, it actually made her worse. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a yang activity. You need to just basically, the feedback that my mentor gave me was like, instead of running by the rock or instead of sprinting by the rock on the beach, just go sit on the rock.
Sit on the rock, yeah.
So just sit down, close your eyes, relax, ground yourself, put your feet on the earth, bring it down to the most basic. So yeah, these fresh kind of notes about what worked and didn't work about 2023, bringing those into 2024 is key. For me, it was like, coffee is not working. Oh yeah, putting too many projects on the table is not working. Oh yeah, the yangness of my physical activities isn't working, So cutting just those couple things out and just the basics. Am I hydrated? Am I sleeping? How's my environment? How's my home? How's my bedroom? How's my office? All these things, just tweaking all those little things is now putting me in a really good position, both of us, to now start to gain some momentum in 2024, which we're really excited about.
Just to kind of add to that conclusion in terms of how you were dealing with your anxiety, one thing that comes to mind is the thought, the thought that consumes with, all of the expectations and the pressures that we apply on ourselves, and then how to materialize it is such a heavy loaded thing.
Yeah.
That weighs on the heart.
And
really.
that's what I'm bringing into 2024. 2023, I had just the expectations, the anxiety I was feeling about my own expectations about how these projects, how fast they were going to go or not go. But if I gave them time, island time, then it's all good.
Yeah.
And none of it been this big stress, really. It was just like I was trying to rush certain things forward, and that's just really just happened. So 2024, not going to rush. I'm going to take this one step at a time.
You'll be slow mojos.
And one thing that I ask myself almost every day is just like, what's the most, and so what we want to do is, okay, understand the self. It's like, okay, I'm a sprinter, marathon runner, brisk walker. Okay, I'm one of these things. If you're a marathon person like me, then you need to create boundaries. There's like, you need to put yourself in places where you can actually do that kind of marathon work and not be disturbed, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a sprinter, then you need to schedule those sprints into your week so that you actually get them done, right? And then also after the sprint, give yourself that relaxation time, like that forehand massage that you love to do, or
the forehand massage. I mean, if you have the opportunity, book it.
We know some secret spots in Bali. If you're ever here, where we might We would definitely give them to you if
Yeah.
you reached out.
If you reached out, for sure. It's little hidden gems that just are so nourishing.
Yeah, so we're kind of moving into this more Zen way of moving, and that kind of brings us to, those Zen lessons that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, there's these 5 immortal lessons that kind of they seem a bit, nothing in Zen is ever literal, but also everything in Zen is literal. So that's what makes it Zen. But these 5 immortal empowered lessons really kind of help restore your sense of inner healing and kind of protect the soul a bit. So one of the teachings that they share, or that is shared in the Zen teachings, is that the soul is a representation of the subconscious mind. And if you can't heal that part, meaning clear out all of the, parasitic thought forms that come in and try to play out your life, then there's this kind of disruption that's happening in your system, and you're not able to truly just experience life for the sake of experience life in its bounty and in its glory and in its joy, right? So one of the main, I guess, ideas of these 5 immortal lessons is to learn to say no. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes aligned with boundaries, but to say no more often, right? We're so quick to say yes, especially in the West, or at least in my experience with Canadians, everything is yes, like yes, of course, yes, my pleasure, yes, and if you can just say no, just for the sake of your own, energetic containment, so that you're not overflowing and you're not, they call it a leaky chi, right? Or a leaky gut, but so that your chi's not leaking and you can kind of plug those in, and then you can steer the ship with no fear that you're going to sink.
Yeah, and underneath of that is trust. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, for my entrepreneurs out there, when it comes to opportunities, one of my favorite quotes is like, opportunities are like waves in the ocean. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, you go to the ocean and you watch and you don't think there's another wave coming. You know there's another wave coming, right? So there's as many opportunities as there are waves in the ocean. So mm-hmm. you can say no to one wave, especially if you're surfing. You don't say yes to every wave. You're going to get spent real quick.
Yeah,
your surf is going to be 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if you're a sprinter, I guess maybe that's good for you. But no, it doesn't feel good to catch every wave. I don't sprint
when I surf, okay?
She catches the 1 or 2 waves right away. She's like the fast starter. And then she's like, I'm done. I'm just going to float. And she like suntans on the surfboard.
Yeah.
And
I'm just waiting for the turtle to come and bless me. I'm like, where are you? But to conclude, or to continue to add to these lessons, the second one is kind of known to, and it's very much in correlation with the teachings in Kundalini Yoga, is stop complaining. Mm-hmm. To stop complaining, to find your own solution, right? Not to come to your friend continuing to come with the same story of like my woes, because then you're a letdown, and then as you become a letdown, then you kind of keep holding that frequency and you can't escape it. But often, a lot of the times, you find the solution within, it's very graspable. And sometimes it's also having the ability, this is what we tell both our mothers. We say, if you're worrying about us, just pray for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of worrying about the thing, instead of complaining about the thing, pray for it and give it to God, give it to spirit, give it to the ocean, give it to, the better version of you that knows how to solve the problem, that knows how to solve the equation.
Yeah, if it's coming up, bring it up. Visualize whatever's bothering you that you want to complain about, and then give it to spirit. Give it to your higher self and let them deal with it. Or let your higher self deal with it. You don't have to deal with everything in the mind, you know, and stopping complaining is a big deal. Like, because the opposite of that is really like start being grateful. And grateful is the key to abundance. Gratefulness is the key to flow. It's the key to being a successful entrepreneur and a happy
One thing
person.
that you used to say too is like, what is this grateful for?
Or
What is this
perfect?
problem?
What are you
Oh,
perfect?
yeah. What is this perfect for? Yeah. The problem or the solution or the conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like what the Zen lesson is trying to portray is, don't bring your troubles to a gathering. Like don't complain. And in Kundalini Yoga, we say, don't complain, don't compete, and don't compare. Because all those three concepts deplete you of your vitality. And it's very specific, the depletion. It's like 30% of each of those three. So then that wipes out
90% of your energy.
and then you're just kind of walking around with 10% of your vitality, which is not, not nourishing.
Yeah, what you radiate, you attract, right? So you want to really build and work on that radiant body. And step one is stop complaining. And step two is really step into gratitude.
Yeah. And you can have access to techniques for how to build the radiant body just through breath.
Which we'll definitely share with you guys in future episodes. We're talking about doing some meditations and kriyas right here as we do the podcast. Maybe it's a podcast workshop.
Yeah, maybe we just provide the meditation after or something. We're weaving it together. It's a work in progress, which I kind of really enjoy watching it develop just in the spot, as we continue. So another one again can be a little bit of a trigger point, but again, that is Zen, right? It's just so crisp in many ways. And it's to not always be available for people. And I'll use kind of more of a metaphor. It's like, they say that we're however much percent made out of water. And if you're not, if water is so available, you're not really cherishing it. You're not really taking it for its worth because it's everywhere. It's accessible, right? But if you take a diamond, diamonds aren't available, right? So it's revered more. It's sought after more, right? So if you reflect on kind of your availability, right? I have this thing where he makes fun of me where, I have certain people on archives.
No, you have everybody on archives.
I have everybody on archives. Okay, you want to tell a story?
Well, no, it's a cool system. In Indonesia and Bali, we use WhatsApp for communication more than anything else. And it's just like anyone can just slip into or just like your Instagram DMs, anyone can just slip into them. But at least even with Instagram, you can put people into the general category where it doesn't actually you don't get the message, the notification. And so with WhatsApp, you can put them all in the archive or put them in a different group, which is a good idea, I think. Yeah.
No, it's worked, and it kind of feeds a little bit into the boundaries, not saying yes all the time or not having people be available to your energy all the time. And then it also discerns too, not saying that, you also don't want to miss out on opportunities that do come in, but you can have the choice to, like sometimes I visit the archives, like, okay, who tried to reach out? Now I have time. And then it's like, it's in allocating kind of, the designated time for those designated moments where your attention is needed, but also on your time frame, on your timeline.
Cool. Yeah. So with that, I would add, on your day-to-day, how that could work and how to really make it, we're in set Capricorn season and it's my season. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a goat. But yeah, one way to implementing this not being available for other people is actually just having a plan of action for your day. And one of those things that's actually really really powerful thing is okay, I know where I'm at and I have just asked myself, what's the most impactful, powerful thing I can do today, for example. And then I take a power hour. So this power hour is to focus completely on the most powerful, most impactful thing that will move the needle in my life today. I got it from a friend of mine who actually used his power hour more for revenue and generating income. If you want to generate more income in your life, if you want to create more abundance in your life, the power hour is a great idea. And you focus solely on revenue generating activities. So for example, getting yourself booked for a workshop, planning a retreat, if you're in this kind of space, putting out a new product on your website, if that's it, sending an email to your client list that that's a new offer, creating new offers, generating new offers. So all the kinds of things you can do to generate revenue could be your power hour, which for a lot of us, a lot of people don't focus a lot on that. And if you need more abundance, that's what you do. Or, you do 15-minute abundance kriya, Kundalini abundance kriya, and then you do 45-minute power hour, 45 minutes of like focused time on that, which would be super cool.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a nice discipline practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth one is actually one of my favorites. It's something that our children kind of hold us accountable for a lot of the times. But always do what you say you're going to do. Right? Don't make false promises. Don't make false accusations. And just follow through on that which you say you're going to do. Because that also feeds a little bit of your own inner self-trust and self-motivation and self-love, right? When you are honest with your commitments and what you are moving forward with, yes, of course, you can change your mind. There's that permission to change your mind, but also communicate that, We live in a society and in a culture now where, deflecting and ghosting is okay. Like, oh, they forgot, I'm not going to bring it up. But it's like you kind of have to, walk the walk that you're saying that you're going to walk, or that you say that you're walking.
Mm-hmm. 3 of the most powerful words you can use in 2024 as an entrepreneur or as someone who wants to really create a life of freedom for yourselves is, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You have an idea and you did it. You just did it. You went for it. You trusted. You met your mentor. You met your coach. You met, your circle that you look to for guidance, and you trusted. You said yes. You committed. You said you would do something, and you did it. And I did it. And I did it. And I did it. And next thing you know.
And don't get so hung up on like the timeline, right? Because again, we're going back to the seasons. Like everything kind of has its own season and its own rhythm and its own way that it wants to reveal itself. So if you say, this year I want to do a retreat, and then you get to like December, and then the retreat happens in December, you got it done, Maybe you didn't hit the March mark, but it got done, Like for example, last year my intention was to, go on a retreat, and I ended up facilitating a retreat, which was great. And of course, there wasn't a specific timeline. I know some people in the whole mastermind and manifestation programs say, like, be specific, be as specific as you can. However, you want to create a buffer so that there's a collaboration happening.
So there can be some spontaneous things happening for sure.
And you're not kind of tied down to that particular timeline, and you're open to, what else kind of comes in, and there's no interference with you wanting to hold that particular time construct and then limit yourself to, again, what's coming up. And so the what would you call it? Like the channel is open, so things can come in to inspire you. The momentum, maybe it happens a little bit quicker than you anticipated, maybe a little bit later, but kind of deconstructing the pressure of chronos, the pressure of timelines.
Yeah, so I did it is a powerful 3 words to use this year.
Really avoid false promises.
Yeah.
And words.
And one thing you can do is obviously to say something like verbally is also very different than, say, writing it down. So you can get the garbage out in your notebook. It's a good idea to just do a mind dump into the journal, like free flow, non-judgmental, like da 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 da. Here's all the things I want to do, and da 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 da. But the things that you say out loud, the things that you put in your calendar, the things you share with your partner, your family, yourself out loud through your voice also has a different kind of projection to it. That is different than when you're writing it. So use your journal as a tool for that.
The journaling provides the space, and then the sound actually puts in the incepted seed of that which you want to cultivate more of. So the sound germinates the expression. And the 5th one, the last one, is to kind of get out of this I want to call it the poor-minded identity, which is the scarcity mind. So really focus on prosperity practices, whatever they look like. You don't want to be on the planet in lack, because that's not your birthright. You didn't come here with nothing. You came here with so much. When you kind of, again, you don't want to compare, but because we have ego and the ego likes to compare, not to negate the ego. However, when that happens, you have to realize that the only thing different is that that person that you're comparing yourself with that has elevated or attained whatever is it that you want to attain, is the only difference is that they worked at it. You know what I mean? They worked what they worked. Right? We come here with the same thing. Yeah, maybe they're a trust fund kid. Yeah, maybe they got da 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 da. But if you can take that as energy or realize that, oh, that's just energetic backing, you have the access to in-source those resources as well, just by applying your own energetic impressions and your own energetic, tenacity. Right? Because sometimes when that person, this is my observation, is that when someone is just funded, there's a difference between someone that is not self-made, but that inception that inspires you to just, do your work, whatever it looks like, is more palpable. And there's like a deeper, more rich heart resonance to whatever is it that thing is. So one of the big lessons for this immortal prosperity lesson is to really prosper, develop your prosperity, because it's yours. And just like a muscle, you need to keep strengthening it, right? And you need to keep practicing at it, and try to aim for the best version of yourself.
Yeah. And what we're doing this year is we're creating an image of what that prosperity looks like, and then we're focusing on that at least once a day in a visualization after a meditation. But yeah, continuously visualizing what prosperity looks like this year, this season for you. What is that thing that you're bringing to life?
Mm-hmm. And when those negating thoughts come in, just, don't try to ignore them. Just bless them. Thank you for that reminder. I know that you're trying to keep me safe. And I know that you don't want to grow because it's scary to grow and the unknown is terrifying. However, this is for the greater good of us, And when I say us, I mean, again, the ego is its own entity. It's its own identity, right? So it needs to feel included, and it needs to you have to hold its hand and let it know that it's going to be okay. As you walk through your own power of, self-initiation into that construct that, might not even be as graspable right now, but that it's attainable, right? So
amazing. So those are the 5.
Yeah.
Any other one you want to
add? One thing that I do kind of want to touch on is that healing the soul concept. And in order to heal the soul, it's you have to hit the body first, right? So you heal the soul, you heal the body, because a lot of what is out of balance in the body has to do with the soul. And if, again, we understand that the soul is the subconscious mind, we have to continually do work to try to, like he was saying, journal, get the thoughts out, do practices that clear out the subconscious programming.
We've been going through a couple years of deep excavation of the subconscious through Kundalini and some other practices we've been going deep with. And it's felt a little bit lonely at first. We came to Bali, we came to a new country, and so then we lost all our friends from the other country. Then we came here, and we had a lot of new people that came that we became fast friends. But then it's such a transient place, people left really quickly. And then we started doing some deep excavating work, and now it's like just us. And I think one of the big intentions we have this year is to create community in the real world physically again, and we're kind of ready for that, and that's coming now at the end of like a lot of work of cleaning and clearing. And cleaning and clearing is a big deal. It's, if you start to see these negative thoughts coming up, you need to find a way to clean them. You need to clean constantly. You take a shower every day to clean your body, but you need to find ways to clean your mind, right? So we use Kundalini Yoga, and we use some other practices as well, but primarily it's Kundalini.
Yeah. And whenever you feel like that dark thought is consuming you, do something about it, and if you don't know what to do about it, one of the greatest techniques that we have is just taking a cold shower. Taking a cold shower, or even going out into nature, taking a dip in the ocean. The ocean water is probably one of the best clearing waters that you can have access to, which is nice. And
or write the thing down, say, "Dear Spirit, this is the thing that's bothering me. It keeps coming up, da da da," and then burn it or bury it or do something like that.
There was a meditation technique that we were really in last year. It was called the 3-screen technique.
Yeah.
And it's by Jose Silva. It's a really cool technique that we were really learning and diving into, and it was kind of visualizing the problem and then visualizing the, extended, the exaggerated problem.
So you do the problem, exaggerate it, and then the solution. And then you give it to Spirit.
Yeah, you kind of just lift it however that
looks like for you. So you kind
of
lift it up and give it away. So it's a really good practice that we do as well.
It really does something too. You almost feel like the pressure's lifted. Like it was like it kind of opened up the shoulders more. The cavity was just like a little softer.
Cool. Okay, so we need to understand in summary here, what season are you in? Number 2, what kind of worker, like how do you work? Are you a marathon runner, sprinter, brisk walker? And then taking in all your fresh notes from 2023, integrating the things that you learned and putting it into your life. Don't let that be a waste. Use those lessons, right?
Yeah. And then applying those 5 immortal lessons, and you can always replay it on here. And just what do they look like for you, and how can you implement them? And
since it's Capricorn season, even if you can have 1 power hour a week, wow. If you have 1 power hour a day, wow. But maybe try 3 power hours a week. Whatever you can do, just take it and run with it. And you can put the focus of the power hour on different things, right?
Mine right now is clearing we just moved to our old home, so turning my tea room back into my tea sanctuary now is
give it the power.
It's just a clutter box.
I got the power.
Boom.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. I hope you guys got some, takeaways and some insights and some inspired thoughts we're rolling through.
Yeah. Bloom into abundance. The course is coming. Moving into grace. The course is coming. We're creating a really cool community experience online where we can access courses and interact more than we can through podcast and Instagram and email. So hoping to create a more of an interactive community with some of you that will choose to come with us and continue this conversation even deeper. So thank you for coming. And,
thank you for coming. And then we'll also be teaching, I think, February 3rd on this really beautiful women's leadership course called the Aquarian Society.
Aquarian Women's Leadership Society, AWOLS. It's with Rama Institute.
Of Applied Yogic Science. Yeah, they're a beautiful studio, Kundalini Yoga studio, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. And it's a really beautiful program for women. We're going to co-teach together on just kind of the beauty of relationship and how to hold it and why it's so important. We've been kind of taught to glorify the single life and the pursuit of the woman to just build her empire and then the man will come. But in my experience, the man came and then the empire came.
Well, see how it goes for everybody out there. But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Satnam.
Satnam. See you soon.
Next week.